Alright guys, hello. So as you could tell by the title of the video today, I am going to be helping you transfer your Pokemon from Generation 3 on an emulator to a Generation 4 emulator if this was ever something you wanted to do. So, as you can see, we need three programs here. First of all, you need your Game Boy Advance emulator. I'm using Visual Boy Advance. You need your DS emulator. I am using Daisume. And we need another program called PokeSave, which I will explain in a minute. So, the first thing you need to do is you need to open your Game Boy Advance file in your Visual Boy Advance. From here, you save your game, and you might want to do this twice just to make sure that nothing happened the first time. And after you have saved your game, what you do is you go to File, Export Battery File, and what you do is you don't go to your saved folder. You go to Games, and you save it in the same area where you have your .gba file. This is the only way it will actually work. You can't have the .sav and .gba in separate folders, otherwise this will not work correctly. So once you've done that, you can close Visual Boy, Now, in order to transfer anything from Gen 3 to Gen 4, if you're familiar with Gen 4 at all, you need something called PalPark. PalPark can be found, again, in the very bottom corner of Sinnoh. You have to go all the way down here, Route 221. If you are playing Heart Gold or Soul Silver, you need to go to Fuchsia City, and it will have replaced the Safari Zone. So there is a few other requirements. First of all, you need to have beaten the Elite Four, and second of all, you needed to have completed the Sinnoh Pokedex, which on an emulator is rather impossible since you need to trade, and unless you want to go through all the trading steps to get an Alakazam, that's simply not going to happen. So, in order to get around this, what you do is you go to File, Export Backup Memory, and you save right here. You save wherever you have all of your other SAV files. In PokeSave, you go to Open, and then you find your SAV file. And so here you have your SAV file, and you go down to the bottom corner where it says Pokedex. You should have Sinnoh checked off already. What you then need to do is check Sinnoh plus National. Once you do that, you hit Save, and on Platinum you go to File, Import Backup Memory, and you select the one you want. You then click Auto from Save Data Size, and your emulator will reset. Okay, so I was a few steps away from when I last saved. So, once you've done this, you when you first come here, there will be two guards standing here and here that say that PalPark is under construction. Once you've checked off Sinnoh plus National, you can just walk right in, and Professor Oak, if this is your first time entering, will have a little monologue and tell you he'll be in Eterna City for a while. So what you do now is, again, you save and you hit reset on Daisume. And at this point, PokeSave is no longer needed. So now you go down, you go to Config, Slot 2, GBA slot. It'll initially be on None. You go to GBA Game. From here you browse for your .gba file. So here we have Pokemon Emerald. Now go to any file and make sure that your .sav is right there as well. Mine is, so I hit open, OK, yes. Desume will reset again. That's the third time so far. Now, instead of actually starting the game, you go down to migrate from, insert your game here. Yes, yes. And now you can choose your Pokemon. Oh yeah. If you want to migrate a Pokemon, it cannot know an HM, otherwise it won't transfer. So if the Pokemon you want to transfer has a hidden move, and you need to remove it. So in Fire Red Leaf Green, you go to the Fuchsia move deleter, and in Ruby Sapphire Emerald you go to the Lily Cove move deleter. So once you've chosen your 6 Pokemon, you hit yes, yes again, and it'll save the data. And it should say that. If it does not say 6 Pokemon safely migrated to the Pokemon Platinum, Diamond, Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver game card, you've done something wrong and you should probably just restart. Alright, from here, you then begin the game, and you walk over to the guy at the counter. Enter a catching show, you receive 6 park balls, and from here anyone who is familiar at all with the system knows exactly what you do. You just run around in the park until you catch your Pokemon. Just a little comment. This right here is probably the most aggravating thing to ever do. Leveling a Wobbuffet to 100 is nasty and brutal, and something that takes far too long. Which is why Lucky Egg plus trading bonus is a wonderful thing. So as you can see, my legendary dogs were illegitimately obtained, one could say. So yeah, it's level 6 and not level 50, so most legendaries are going to appear in the mountainous region, but most other Pokemon will appear in the field area. So as you can see, all the legendary dogs, Salamence, and you will see later my Aggron will appear in the mountain region. So from here, it's all just run around in grass until you find all of your Pokemon, and once that happens, the catching show will end, and he will transfer everything to your boxes, and you now have Pokemon inside of Platinum, or Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Diamond, Pearl, whichever one you happen to choose. So that is how this whole entire system works. So thanks for watching, have a nice day, and I'll just finish up right here with catching all of my transferred Pokemon.